Good morning. My name is Dr. Hillel Mazansky, and I specialize in medical hypnosis, guided visualization, nutrition, and exercise. My website being www.gianinc.com. Today's health tip is entitled 18 Secrets That Men Wish Their Woman Would Know. As there are 18, I will be reading some of them. Men do not talk about their feelings directly, but rather indirectly. Therefore, females, if you want to ask your husband or significant other a question, try and frame it in an indirect fashion rather than a direct fashion, and the answer will be forthcoming. Some men show their gratitude and their feelings through actions rather than words. They will do repairs in the house without being asked. They will tidy up the yard and do things for their wives rather than say or talk about their feelings. They rather act on their feelings. Men tend to find difficulty in making comments, but generally they manage to do so. In a recent study, 90% of men said that they would marry the same type of woman again had they had the chance. Well, that says quite a lot. When talking to a man, they don't usually acknowledge by saying yes, rather than I agree. And that makes it listening more difficult because men do not tend to listen for very long. Their listening span is decreased. So if you have to tell them in a direct manner and be succinct about it. Men tend to bond with their partners by doing things together, such as playing sport or going out to certain events, rather than actually verbalizing their feelings. Go with them to sporting engagements, to the gym, do things together, creates a greater bond than listening to what your husband has to say. Men do need time on their own. They need to bond with their friends, either by playing sports or going to sporting events or working out in the gym together. If you want to know how a man reacts, watch his father, if he's still alive, of course. See how the father acts towards the mother, because husbands, sons tend to emulate their fathers in how they act towards their wives. Women tend to remember negative issues, whereas men tend to forget them rather soon, and they go on with their lives. They don't harbor negative thoughts very well. Men don't pick up on silent clues or subtle clues. They rather discuss it in an indirect fashion. Men tend to appreciate that their wives show their gratitude to them if they've done a job well done, whether it's in the house, in the yard, a repair, whatever. Fathers tend to get involved with their children in a far greater way, especially when the relationship between the father, the husband, and the wife is satisfactory. It is no secret to every wife that men desire to have sex more frequently. They fantasize about sex more than women do. But at the end of the day, the vast majority of men, while they think about it and fantasize about it, they stay monogamous and have relationships with their wives. Men tend to feel that sex is a very important aspect in their lives. And in the long term, sex with their partners tend to be far more gratifying than casual sex. Men prefer for their wives to take the initiative in having sex, and not always is it left up to the male to initiate. This can lead to far greater pleasure for both. The man does initiate on occasion, but he would prefer the wife to be more receptive and initiate sex. Men aren't always in the mood for sex, especially if they have psychological issues of worry and tension, whether it be financial or at work. So the wives should accept this fact and be encouraging and wait for a few days. Hopefully this will pass, and then you can resume a loving relationship again. Men generally enjoy pleasuring their wives, but oftentimes it's up to the wife to inform her husband what pleasures her and what she would like him to do to her. There are some men that get anxiety when it comes to sex because they're not sure whether they will please their wives or whether what they do will be satisfactory to bring her to climax. A loving, reassuring woman will encourage her husband and never scold him if his actions are not up to par. If a man doesn't feel loved and appreciated, and he's denied sex continually, he may turn out of his marriage to become sexually satisfied, and this serves no purpose. But the facts are the facts, and this does happen. Another way of them coping is not always do they go out and cheat on their wives, but they might get involved with excessive amount of sports playing or working out at the gym for hours on end instead of coming home to their wives. Most men realize that they're in the marriage for the long run and they want to have a satisfactory marriage, both physically and intellectually. They want to raise their children, and they want to have a happy marriage. And as the old aphorism says, it takes two to tango. The man and the woman need to act 50%, 50% in making the marriage be a success. Oftentimes this is so. However, on occasion, when there's irreparable damage and the two cannot meet, unfortunately it leads to divorce. I hope that these health tips will help help your marriage and put it on a solid footing. And if there's anything else you'd like to know, please feel free to email me at hypnodoc@gianinc.com. hypnodoc@gianinc.com, and I will be more than happy to answer your questions. And this is complimentary, there is no charge. My name is Dr. Hillel Mazansky, and I thank you for listening to the video.